exciting to have three of us on the little ION update right now. So yeah, Simon, Phil, and me, Adam, are here. We want to talk about IOEN World, which we're pretty excited about. And, so Sim, what have you got for us?
Pretty exciting launch today. I guess we've been working very hard on this for quite some time. What we found in a few of the projects we've been working on, in particular, it seems to be a resonating theme that we've heard is a lot of projects out there, community energy projects, and even individual projects, like people wanting to create community outcomes for their own street or their own neighborhood or their own community or group or social network, so on and so forth. There's lots of interest in the transition to a renewable future and a carbon zero future. But there's not much out there that makes it easy for people to understand and map out a path to achieve those outcomes, So, and that applies even from an individual level, also all the way out to big projects that we're working on with councils and sustainability groups and various other things. They're setting objectives, but there's nothing that really exists in the market to map out a path to achieve that. So we've developed this concept of IOEN World, which we're launching today, which is basically a tool for anyone to do just that. Any individual can map out their own street, their own neighborhood, their own community, any particular environment that's interesting to them. They can map it out and map out a path to carbon zero or whatever their objective is, which might be energy independence. So that's what we're launching today. The other element of it as well is it's a place where various projects you can review and see other projects in the ION ecosystem and see how they're achieving these objectives as well, and see how they're trading and sharing electricity in their environment and get progress updates. So it's a real sort of Library of Alexandria sort of deal.
It's pretty cool, right? Because it's I think one of the things that you talk to people in the energy industry and talk to communities and they want a couple of things. That they want to see energy independence for themselves, so they're not, relying so much on centralized grid fossil fuels, and they want to see energy equity, that everyone gets to participate in this. And this is something that's we feel that something's been missed in this so far, is that it's all well and good if some people have got a ton of solar on their roof and others don't, that people with solar, they benefit, the others don't. Well, what we've got here with IOEN World is about mapping that out so that everyone in that community can benefit. And so you can start to share and donate and create a kind of community movement towards 24/7 renewables. So that's something we haven't seen before. And so that's why we're really excited about this as well. It's a much bigger thing than that. And then it's called World, right? Because there's an environment, there's like a local world that Phil's built in Unity, which you're gonna see. But there's also about the world itself, right? That this is not just communities in one place, it's communities everywhere that can benefit from this. So Sim, do you want to bring up the?
Yeah, let me share the page. The other one thing I'd add to that as well is one of the things that we found in our sort of development cycle is engaging with these projects around the benefits and and creating the stage for an actual implementation of the ION protocol in that environment is a really difficult thing. And I know in Holochain ecosystem, they have the Holochain Gym, which Guillaume created, which is a great way to stage up your solution and then create the code that can deliver it to the world. So that's the other part of IOEN World as well. It's a great place for developers and project teams to simulate and create their virtual environment, and then very easily implement that in Holochain. But I'll share my screen and show you the site.
So
my screen share.
Yeah, we can see that, Sim. That's awesome. So this is the exciting thing we want to share today. This is like the gateway into IOEN World from the very top level, and that's why you're seeing it from space, looking down on Earth. And the idea for this website is that anyone can come to this website, and as you can see in the top right-hand corner, it says add location. So if you want to start modeling your community or your neighborhood or your street or your city or anywhere in the world you want to start modeling this, you can choose and request your area to be modeled. And so this is a really simple way that we're really interested to do this, to help people who are around the world who support ION, who want to be, part of our IONite community, to then be part of this. You can just start submitting the communities you want to see on this, and they'll go into a backlog here for them being mapped into the 3D model system. And what we're going to be doing is opening up a bounty program very shortly for people to come along and map that in return for ION tokens. And so this is the first part of where we feel the ION community globally can go, and to start to be part of it, to put in where we want to see those new communities and new grids coming up. And you can see on there's a bunch of them in there already. So with our partnership with Seoul PTN in Myanmar, we're already starting to map out those communities in Myanmar. We've been mapping the communities in Australia at a couple of places here. There's obviously the Mahama refugee camp from our partners at Mesh Power over in Rwanda. So it's starting, right? And it's small. So this is the beginning of it. But IOEN World is the website here, is just your gateway to sort of start doing that. So our call to action today is please go to the add location, go to the website, go to add location, and put in any locations that you would like to see mapped into this system. And when we have the bounty program opening up soon, we'll be able to start mapping them one by one. And this is why it says unlocking a clean energy future one location at a time. We're just taking this nice and steady, moving it forward. As we said over and over again, we've been building. This is the start of where this can go, and it can obviously scale up as we put more people into the bounty program. So we're super excited about this, because it's a great way of people visualizing where this can go as a global movement. And then I think the other part for us here is that we're really excited that because once we've got this up here, you can put your details in. We're starting to create that ecosystem of everyone that's there, and that's going to be really great to see where we've got all these communities running and starting to transact. And then also donating ION between communities is obviously one of the use cases that we've got for the technology. But probably one of the most exciting bits is how the model works, the 3D model that sits underneath it that will come in. So I'll probably hand over to Phil.
I just add one quick one to the end of that too, AB. So one of the things that we will be doing, like the objective is to have as many different sites that you may have to add to this list, and we pop up locations around the globe, and eventually we will look to have essentially a kind of a scoreboard at the implementation in this website that tracks how much as a community, how much carbon we're avoiding and saving as a group and as a community. So it'll be a real nice way for us to track our progress and track what we're doing.
Yeah, that's cool. And that's a really good point, actually, that it's about, this is the global community. So like, this isn't just about, this is about people on your neighborhood. That's absolutely right. But it's also about global community working and learning from each other as we develop these grids around the world. So that's a really exciting point. It's going to be a scoreboard, but it's kind of like a community. It's like, it's not a scoreboard of who wins. It's like a scoreboard of how everyone's winning, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And in terms of projects being put forward in that form, don't worry about being precious about that it needs to be a big corporate project or anything like that. If it's your street, you feel you want to get mapped. Like one of the first projects we started with was with Phil and my street. So that's we're doing you can make it as small or as large as your appetite is. So just fill in that form and we can consider it as one to map.
Awesome. Thanks, Sim.
I'll hand over screen share to you, Phil.
Typically, as soon as I start, there's a motorcycle right next to me. Anyway, let's have a look. So once you've put in your form and got an area mapped on IOEN World, we're going to build these 3D models out of it. So this is the town of Macedon. And we can zoom in here and you can see this is actually a 3D map generated from the mapping data. And then each of the white dots is a nanogrid. And then each of the colored ones is a house that has actually joined one of the Internet of Energy networks in this area. So up on the top left here, you can see we've got the Macedon Football Club, Primary School, Uniting Church, the Renewable Energy Action Group, and the Netball Club. And so there are various members living in this town who belong to those different social groups. And so as each one of the new houses comes on and joins one of these social groups, it calculates whether or not that network has enough generation capacity for the new house. If it does, that's great. If it doesn't, it'll schedule new solar to be installed. So you can see these houses here have all been scheduled to have solar installed, and this one has actually had it installed. Because what happens is you can set the amount of time that it takes to install the solar system, and the number of systems can be installed at once. So let's bump that up to 7, drop that down a bit, and we'll speed things up. That's how fast you can run things. So now you can see as these dots come on board, and the next lot of solar that gets installed, which will be in a couple of days' time. So what's happening here is that as each of these groups grows, so the Renewable Energy Action Group, they've got 71 members. 3 of those are generating. You can see that the capacity to, so they just got some more installed. See 2 more just got installed in that area. And then, so what this does is it works out what's your annual load for the group, and then how much more solar power do we need to schedule for that energy group to be energy independent. And then each time one of them comes out in here, we can actually put this into a Gantt chart or any project management tool, and you can schedule exactly day to day which houses need to have solar generation installed, when that needs to be done, and then you can, based on some of these other factors like how long does it take to do, how effective is your marketing in the group, and how long does it take a group to actually grow, we can estimate very accurately how long it'll take a region to get to net zero or 24/7 renewable or whatever. So this is where the mapping on the IOEN World and all that information in OpenStreetMap comes into here, and we can update the models in bidirectionally. So you can update in here or on OpenStreetMap, and you end up with a fully operational 3D map showing how ION is running through your system.
That's very cool. And that starts with that someone submitting the community they want to work with. And that's the communities we're working with now, right? They've said, hey, great, we want to work with you guys. We map it out, put it into the system and show how it works. But it's
that's right. Yeah. And we've actually got someone who is actually mapping those Myanmar villages for us, getting paid in ION.
Yeah. Very cool. It's really, I feel it's so cool that, like, the way you've explained that, which is around, what's the gap for getting to 24/7 renewable, and identifying exactly where that gap sits. Because one of the things that we've seen is that, as Simon said at the beginning, there isn't really this kind of tool out there to help people do that, to councils to be able to do it, for community groups to be able to do it, for anyone to like map that out and see, oh, cool, okay, we want to get to this goal, but we don't know how to get there. Now you can start to see where it sits, and that's really, really cool. It's really exciting because it means that you can actually do it in reality rather than just having a thought experiment.
Yeah, and there's such a massive demand for this, because literally every council, state government, federal government, they're all going, yeah, we're going to go net zero by 2030. I was like, good on ya. Yeah, that's it. And nobody has an answer. No, not one person that we've asked has said, this is how we're going to do it. They're all like, we're going to do it, but I'll be out of office, so I'm good.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We got to get planning, get into it. Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, Phil. Sim, anything you want to wrap up with? I think that was a pretty cool little launch. More to come.
No, I think we're really excited about this. I think there'll be some more information about how to get specifically involved. That starts with the form, definitely. So if you have a project or initiative you'd like to map out, whether that is to, as I say, achieve energy, if the question you have is, how do I achieve energy independence for everyone in my street, or it might be a proper a commercial project or something like that, whatever size it is, just fill in that form and we'll have a look at it. We'll be releasing a blog shortly, and we'll also be releasing probably some videos just to share the process for actually mapping a site for any of those who are interested in participating in the bounty program. So the concept will be that someone will request a site to be mapped, and then someone in the community can map that site, and the denomination will be ION for that. And as Phil said, we've already got a bunch of these sites with this Soul PTN group that we're already actively starting to map. So yeah, just keep an eye out for those videos and the blog, and start at that form. And the URL is IOEN.world, and that's live today. So
brilliant, amazing, cool. Well, thanks everyone. We'll be back in touch soon. Cheers, you guys. See ya.
bye.